In Lakesh Veritas, I'm very live today.
You are vibrant.
Yes,
You're holy.
yes,
You're in white today.
sacred.
Yeah, I like the avant-garde collar. It's different. Very LaOta.
Yes,
That's right.
thank you, thank you,
Sacred,
thank
sacred.
you. You're
So,
looking very much yourself,
thank you.
beaded, draped,
Flowing,
hatted.
radiant. Thank you.
Yes,
That's how I roll. So, welcome everybody of the Sun Live, and we are here going over more tenets today.
yes.
And so, we're taking the group through all the tenets, the embodiment of the sun, assisting people with navigating, well, first off, understanding who we are, becoming more familiar, and then for those who resonate, here's a guideline, here's a path that you can take to keep yourself in check, by way of an energy hygiene lifestyle, but what it means to be of the sun. So today, our topic is how to keep growing with through the breakthrough. And the maxim, or excuse me, the tenet is commit to lifelong elevation. Don't stop clearing. So
Sounds
it's
like a song.
yeah, yeah. Don't stop clearing. Remove the negativity. Yeah. So maybe we should have AI help us make a song about that. But the point is, this is such a real thing. I've seen it in myself. I've seen it in clients alike. I see it in the world. We think there's a peak, there's a mountaintop. There's always another peak. Can't stop, won't stop.
Right.
And there's a grave misunderstanding when we think that, okay, I'm there and that's it. I've done all the growing I can do. I wonder what the trees got to say about that. So, anywho, welcome everyone. I'm going to go over some of our announcements before we dive into our topic today. And so, we got some upcoming classes, and we are in the month of July. So, be sure to check out the free high frequency activities, many of which are on the LaOta of the Sun YouTube channel. These are a variety of meditations, activations, conversations that, again, are encouraging high frequency living. And the reality is that the algorithm has many things that will pull you into a lower space. We're looking to make our contribution to broadcast, content that we would like to digest, and put that out there into the world to help offset, algorithm's kind of crazy,
Yes.
kind of wild. Like, what are you doing, algorithm? You don't know me. You don't know me. So be sure to check out Flowers and Frequencies every Monday, 6 p.m. with Lauren of the Sun. This is working with the flower consciousness, and this past Monday, she took us into some understandings about the agriculture and the process of cultivating flowers and how egregious it is. Like, there is a level of enslavement with the flowers, and then the level of pesticides that are sprayed on the flowers and the chemicals, and people go smelling them and just getting all these pesticides inside of them, and it's so different than what we understand. And when she did that podcast and we had that conversation, I went to the store and I grabbed a couple of things, and I already saw everything as this is fake, fake news, fake news, fake news. But when I saw the flowers, I was like, oh my gosh, like everything in here is, for the most part, over 90% is death. It's like a glamour, it's like an illusion that's not even real. And so she dives into that, and I think it's very informative. You had any thoughts on that? Because you all work together with the flowers.
It is not only informative, it is hidden from our consciousness, and it really diminishes the reality of what the flowers are. The flowers are healers.
Yeah.
And we know that humanity spontaneously takes them to people who are sick in the hospital, spontaneously brings them to people you love, spontaneously we know to give flowers to people as a blessing and to heal them. We already know this, that if they're grieving, give them flowers and let's heal that frequency. So what they have done is they have poisoned them. Then we bring our nose, it's like the perfect trick.
Yeah.
You bring your nose and
So
then you
insidious.
inhale deeply, when in fact many of the original flowers like roses are now bred without smell. They're bred specifically
I've noticed
without
that.
smell.
Like, yeah.
Although some varieties still do have them, depending on where they're coming from. But these flowers, which were brought here by Diane of the Sun today,
That's right.
are from a local flower grower who has on her property many varieties of flowers that can be picked, or she can make bundles. And so these flowers come from a local grower. So these flowers stay for a long time. You may notice that sometimes from week to week we'll have the same flowers because they stay here with us, for us, because we ask them to. So this is very expansive. You are encouraged to go to all of the shows that we have on the platform, but the recent show about what happens in other countries that produce flowers and how they're enslaved and imprisoned and shipped here is a breakthrough for most people's consciousness. People don't give it a thought.
Yeah, because enslavement stops at humans.
Yes.
And people are just waking up to the reality that this is another layer of enslavement, the system that we are in, not only in the US, but also globally. But then that enslavement extends to nature itself and subjugation in varying levels, even the dimensional world.
And the flowers are healers. So this is part of keeping medicine going by diminishing the flowers is all part of one idea. The flowers are healers. So they come to this planet to bestow upon us this idea of healing. And as we learn that, it's in its shadow phase of we see it, but it doesn't really register deeply. So the work with Lauren and the flowers is allowing people to have deeper consciousness of what really is at stake.
Yeah, most certainly. This is giving the understanding, or I think shedding more light on the importance of sourcing local. Retract and remove your energy, your life force from the big box stores. You know, go to people who love what they do, who have appreciation for life. You know, on all fronts.
Or become a grower of flowers. Become a person who distributes beauty, scent, health, and healing to others by growing flowers and selling them.
Yes, yes.
And what a wonderful way to have a life.
Indeed.
Yeah.
All right, so also midday meditation every Wednesday. So yesterday we had Diane of the Sun, and each Wednesday at 12 noon, she takes us through an activation that is typically associated with what we're doing in light body activation, which I really want to talk about that.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. So our topic today is about the tenets, but we gotta talk about light body phase 3. And there's been some tremendous events happening, unfolding in consciousness. And we are in the field of, or the phase 3, it's titled coherence. Putting a sticky note. I'm excited. I'm going to sustain this. This excitement is not going anywhere. But the midday meditation, Diane takes us through usually mudra meditations to activate the energy centers, expound on them a little more. And so this is a great one-off for people who, you know, you part of light body, you want a little something extra to stay within the rhythm of the frequency, the remembrance of it, or if you're not in light body, this is a way you can kind of tap into it. And if you've been seeing us like, what's this light body about? I know about light body, but I didn't want to start because you were in the middle. We at the beginning, we are in the root chakra, so this is the perfect place for building your foundation, literally and figuratively. So jump in. We'll have you can go to the Of the Sun webpage, ofthesun.com. There's a link in the description, and a link for light body to sign up and be a part of the movement of coherence with us. So 12 noon Wednesdays, you can catch Diane. And
light body is
yeah, let's jump into light body. Let's talk about it.
For the entire month of July, we will be at the root chakra, which is the beginning. And it's the foundational aspect. It's where the ancestors are. It's the life and death. It is really where healing most takes place. It is your connection to Mother Earth. I could go on and on and on. This is the beginning of that, although we will be in that chakra for the month of July. The way we have designed the course is that you can come in at any point in the course, and you will still have the information that was the previous month. But we're in the root chakra for the entire month of July. This is an excellent time to gather your thoughts about more power, more depth, the ancestors, calling in help, making sure that you're supported and stabilized through the coherence that is being built as we go through each chakra system. So you're invited to join us in that.
Most certainly. So because we're on it, I gotta talk about at least one of the understandings.
Yes.
One of the breakthrough understandings, which is deeper than intellectual, is you are the earth. You are encapsulated. You actually sent me a cute clip of someone speaking about the concept of babies in the womb and how the babies that are in the womb, there's these twins that are having a conversation about, is there life after delivery? You know, like what's next? And it's so perfect because their experience is mirroring how humans perceive reality, not realizing that everything, including the soul housed in the body, is Earth herself.
Yes.
And so it's a re-identification that strengthens coherency because we've been taught to be afraid of what we are. We've been taught to fear all the different emissaries. Well, people aren't necessarily afraid of flowers, but the little
Well, the
guys
medical
who,
industry is.
well, yeah, they're like, ooh, don't let them get that. Don't tell them about it.
Yeah.
But people are often afraid of the life forms that are around the flowers. You know, so almost anything that is not humanoid, we fear because we don't understand that we are that and that she is talking to us through them, and it's about the signal. So the coherence allows us to have the signal to perceive the information from the earth, which is communicating to us to support the evolutionary growth, including with the sun itself, which that's a whole nother story.
There's much that could be said here. There's a lot that could be said. The idea of joining on to the light body, starting in the chakra, will expand your understanding of the greater multidimensional nature that you are part of, that we are like, as you like the analogy of a baby in the womb, we are the baby in the embryonic fluid, and the fluid is conscious and alive. We don't know how the fluid works. We don't realize that the fluid is part of the planet. We don't know that we can do a lot of things with it because our orientation and our traditions have not taught us that. But yes, that idea of being the embryo in the embryonic fluid inside of the earth, as the earth moves through the multidimensional nature, because in the womb is another dimension.
It totally is. Like you go through the portal.
Yes. It's a multidimensional story that lets you know that and it really goes into our topic today of the other levels that we can go through. We are multidimensional beings, and we have no idea that our whole lives is an experience of that. When we're born, when we become teenagers, when we become at different stages, every stage is automatically that, but in between there are many other portals and multidimensional experiences that we can have with other aspects of creation, that we don't just have to sit over here huddled afraid with the humans. You know, by the way, where we're covered in other things.
That's a whole nother story.
And
yeah.
Billions of things that are alive are living inside of us. Like, stop it. Stop thinking so small.
So we are being expanded. New identities are emerging. Coherence is activating through the light column.
Yes, yes.
So this is beautiful. So join us. Clearly, we're turned up. We're having such a good time, and it's as good as the experiences are collectively in the light body activation. Because this is an initiation. When you have your direct experiences with nature or through the field, holographically understanding what's being cultivated, oh my gosh, the expansion that takes place. You know, I see more of myself, which is one of the benefits of continuing our elevation process, to keep growing, to keep clearing, which, you know, that's our tenet today that we're going to discuss, but I'm getting a little ahead of myself. You know, everything's everything. So anywho, links in the description for anybody who wants to join us with the elevation. And then also, every Thursday, we're here chopping it up with you all, high frequency conversations. And again, right now focused on the tenets. And it is so important that we have a guideline to sustain our light, and we're laying that out for you. So be sure to check out the previous live streams where we were discussing the tenets. I'm going to do just a quick little rundown with you all so that you're aware of the tenets. So previously we have covered upholding energy hygiene as a lifestyle, being a steward of truth, honor sovereignty, yours and others, operating with integrity, be the clearing, that was last week, and today, commit to lifelong elevation, continue learning and clearing, and expand without ego or stagnation.
So these tenets speak to who we are. So if you are, who are these people? What are they talking about? Why do they keep having cards? And why are they saying tenets? We are introducing you to ourselves, into who we are, and who you can be, who you can join onto, what you can do, how you can be expanded in a way maybe you have not been expanded in, and a place where you can contribute your consciousness to the expansion of humanity, because that is our goal. We are clearers. We have been clearing humanity for decades. We are clearing things that are anti-life and those things that are against life. And we are inviting you to join us if you are oriented that way. And if you're not, it's okay. There are other rooms in the building.
Go down the hall. Sorry, we're not on this roster. You may want to go down to room 802.
But the tenets help you know who we are. We are about integrity. We're about disciplining ourselves to do energy hygiene on ourselves.
That's right.
We are about making sure that we are correct, and that others who join onto us can know that we will speak correctly, so that all of these things. So every time we come forward, we give you a tenet that we're focused on in that week, so we can explain more of what that means, and that's what we'll do today.
Well, certainly. And so also, we're almost done with our announcements again, and we see some of you all are coming into the live stream. We're talking about the tenets today, how to keep growing after your breakthrough, making sure we're not stagnant and making sure we don't feel like we made it to the mountaintop. So stick with us, almost done here. Diane of the Sun also does the Divination group card pool. This is every second and third Friday, working with the Call for the Truth Divination cards. LaOta curated, along with myself, I designed them. And it was an accompaniment with her book, Call for the Truth, which when you released it, people were not ready. It's like, what you mean, the truth? What you mean? I mean, yeah, but like, they get it now. They get it now. Go ahead, speak your piece now.
During the time where I wrote the book, Call for the Truth, we were in the beginning of COVID.
Yeah.
So what could be seen spiritually was very evident. Now many people have moved into that level of understanding as time has passed and the truth has been revealed. And even though nobody has been tried for the things that were done, most people understand now that it was not what it was presented to be, and that even that is a breakthrough, because in that time that was not the case.
No, people were Stockholm syndrome, on board, fear driving them to control the people around them, which you just spoke of. That is so anti-life.
And it's against our tenets. It's against the tenets to not be in respect of another person's free will.
That's right.
So you're free to do that. I was free to write the book. You're free to read it, free not to read it.
Yeah, free will, free won't.
Yes.
So anyway, Call for the Truth, the Divination group card pull. This is a way to get a free reading, group reading. What's the truth that the group needs to hear? And every second, third Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern. Usually I'm there on the third Fridays hanging out with Diane and always having a good time. Last week she did Evolutionary Book Club. This is every first Friday. She's bringing forth a book. Diane's our spiritual librarian. She's got all the books. She's like, oh, what's next? What's in resonance with our son? So she covered the book, The Never Ending Story, it's had a movie, and I think one of the pieces of The Never Ending Story, there's several little pieces that I think are really great. Encouraging humans to use our imagination, encouraging humans to evolve beyond the fear and the cowardice that we have into something greater, and how you becoming greater can be of service to helping, or I'm going to say save loosely, because you can only save self, but you can inspire. And then lastly, this concept of the nothingness, which was consuming this world called Fantastica. And it mirrors the anti-life that we are in confrontation with within ourselves and externalize throughout our world. You got any thoughts on this nothingness?
I love this book. It's really a book for children coming of age, but it's really a book for humanity coming of age, that if we pursue the things that are prevalent in our world, there will be nothingness. And this is,
Yeah.
remember, this is the sixth Earth. We have proven it 5 other times. Other Earths have been destroyed. And so the nothingness is a reality that will come in, but it is within the hero's story that you each are the hero that can make sure that the nothingness does not devour you and your world.
Yeah, so important.
Yes.
So check that out if you haven't, and it's posted up in the previous live stream. And then last free, and these are all free events. Like there's always something to do. This is pretty much every day of the week. Something happening, I think with the exception of Tuesday. So Quantum Light Property Clearing Chronicles. This is every 4th Friday of the month. Diane, myself, Lauren, Tiffany of the Sun, we are all seasoned clearers that are sharing these powerful transformational stories of how quantum light property clearing has been used within our own lives, with our clients, the magic and power of it, of, for example, protection, and just the general concept of being able to influence the field, being able to change the memory, to collapse the memory, being able to identify specifically what's in the space, not just go with your sage and like, I think something, no, like we know, oh, there's 17 negative thought forms in your house. Let's clear that. You got some portal ways over in that bedroom from all that arguing, and to be able to do something about that. And again, it puts us, what I would say for myself and others alike, is it has positioned us in a space of feeling real power, where we're not necessarily controlling people. It's from the inside out, but we're influencing the field, which can influence and support us to move into a new trajectory.
Yes, there's, I mean,
Yeah, it's a lot, right?
yeah,
Like, where you wanna go with this?
there's a lot to be said, but we are essentially modern day Ghostbusters.
Totally.
And um,
Who you gonna call?
the, there are levels of interference patterns that show up under a variety of different names historically that we are able to move through the techniques that we use, and whether it's in your animals or in the walls of your house or on the land that you may be on, that others were on that land, or fragments of relatives who may have died in a space.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, we do that, and we have become, our method is extremely powerful, and we are teaching people how to do this. We encourage people to learn to keep your own space free of interference patterns, whatever that may look like. But to do that, the classes are necessary because you can only clear as much as you are clean.
Oh.
Because this is why people use things that are outside of themselves, because the requirement of purity is necessary to carry the charge that's strong enough to disperse an interference pattern. So when you all talk about this in Quantum Chronicles, I think it's so wonderful for people to see that this is not said in a way that's frightening or spooky. This is just a reality. There are a lot of things that we can't see. We're seeing 4% of what's in our spaces and places. That's 96% of something else that could be problematic. And we are specialists and authorities in that area, and we're happy to teach everyone who's of the age of reason how they can best keep their own space. This is how we can keep Earth this time, if we all take the responsibility for clearing our own spaces, or at least have respect that others can do it for us.
Certainly. So join us every 4th Friday of the month. We're diving deep, having a good time, and we got several videos archived if you're interested. And so before we start, I want to share with you all our advanced classes. So, and some of these are actually entry level. So you're bringing back the Luminous Life Method, the second phase. And I want to be clear, you have taught the Luminous Life Method as a path. Well, first off, it's an extension of soul translation. How to translate the gifts, the archetypes of the soul, which is a facet of soul clearing. Then,
And healing.
Yes. But then you got the adjunct, Luminous Life Method, utilizing soul translation technology, which this simply requires learning sun calibration. So there's only one prerequisite, which, again, of the sun is in the position to assist you with being sovereign, get you back to the signal inside of you, where you can work with your body to get yes and no information. And once you have that, so much more opens up within of a sun for those who are looking to be a practitioner, step into the world of energy in a way that can expand themselves and others, because you can literally make a living off of this if you wanted to. But back to the point, Luminous Life Method is an instructional guidance of literally how to hold light, how to live it, how to walk it, how to consume it, take it in, being aware of the things that would dampen and diminish the light in a myriad of different ways that are faceted within the human experience. So as you take us into the second phase of this, what do our students have to look forward to?
It's so exciting to be, this is a new class. I've only taught the first round of it. It will probably be a continuing class as we are teaching you what we are currently aware of, and our awareness changes and grows as the topic of our class today. Like, there's no point at which we have everything. There's an always ever expanding universe of knowledge and intelligence and allies coming to share and expand us. So Luminous Light Method is that. Those who are in the class have already learned how to get their answers. Often they are students of other classes or other modalities where they've learned levels of cleanliness and they've had breakthroughs and they've reached the mountain peak, and they're taking this class so they can stay up there and breathe. You want to stay up on top of the mountain?
I sure do.
You
Not a game.
and you want to breathe while you're out there. There's certain things that you will have to put down that are from our experience in third dimensional reality that don't accommodate the mountain. So we talk about those things.
You got to pack light. Be carrying all that baggage up the mountain.
Yes, hiring a Sherpa to carry your stuff
No,
is
there are no Sherpas. There are no Sherpas with this trip. Every pot sits on their own bottom.
And there will be no dead bodies we're walking over, and no
no.
trash on the way up to the Himalayas, none of that.
None of that.
So the idea is as you grow and expand, more is available and more is required
Well, certainly.
to make what's available available.
Yes, yes. So Tuesday, July 14th, 21st, 28th is a 3-day class, 6 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. Eastern. This will be held live on Zoom. Get in where you fit in. You will find the link on the homepage of a Sun. The link is in the description below. Energetic Protection and Defense class. I'll be bringing that forth. This is one of our introductory classes for those who are looking to become a student of quantum light property clearing. You got to learn to defend yourself. But really, you're protecting yourself from yourself. And so within the class, not only are we assisting the souls with understanding techniques, but the understanding of the mechanics of our reality, because we have been taught that the threat is out there. I know what it looked like. That's not the truth. They tricked you. I'm telling you. Come. They tricked you. I'm going to tell you something. It's inside of you. The enemy is the inner me. So when you realize that, it puts you back in the position of power where you can collapse parasitic interferences, stop that from happening due to your own consent, stop manipulation, learn how to pull back your power and energy if you do slip up, send things back to the originators if you allow yourself to move into resonance with levels of aggression. And again, this builds on cleaning and clearing, but from the perspective of both protection and defense. And protection and defense are two different things. Protection is preventative. Defense is like, yo, my guard was down. I gotta pull out the, the judo, the wushu, or whatever martial arts you want to apply. But the point is, this is a prerequisite. It's introductory. So at any point of your relationship with Sun, you can just jump into this class, and it's Thursdays, July 16th, 23rd, and the 30th, 6 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. Eastern. You have any thoughts on this before we jump into our podcast?
I have so much on this. So the idea of energetic defense is it covers the third, fourth, fifth, and sixth dimension. It really speaks to the aspect of we are each one of two polarities of creation, the divine masculine or divine feminine, but it speaks to the masculine aspect that is moving across our intelligence of integrity, discipline, and action. The more integritous you are, the less you will have things coming to you. The more disciplined you are, the more you will be able to identify it, and the more you practice this, the more the action becomes easy for you, and the world stops looking like it's attacking you, and you take full responsibility for your own integritous, disciplined movement, and that puts down the unconscious aspect that's attacking you through the systems that we live in. So that's what I want to say about it.
Beautifully said. Beautifully said. So if you all are feeling this and you feel like I need some of that, click the link in the description. Check out these classes. These classes are putting you back in the position of power, back in the position of sovereignty, authority over your life, your reality. And maybe the people around you may want some of that, right? May be inspired. So today, welcome again, everybody. In Lakesh Veritas, we see we got quite a few people in here. I just want to send in Lakesh Veritas to everyone who is joining us. Honor, respect, and gratitude. We're going to get back to you all in the chat once we make it round our conversation today. But thank you for joining us. And we're talking about the tenet to don't stop clearing. Commit to lifelong elevation. Continue learning, clearing, expand without ego and stagnation. So something I have seen is the moment you think that you've arrived, the moment you think you've made it there, you have stopped growing. You've slowed down your evolutionary process. So it's a psyop to think that, okay, there's a mountaintop, there's an end. We have a client who I spoke to several years ago. I used to do this process called self-serve, which is it's in the process of being revamped. It's a one-on-one consultation of identifying negative frequencies and helping people collapse them by way of embodying a new frequency to change their perception, change their reality. And the client said to me, she said, is there ever a point where I don't have to do this anymore? I said, is there ever a point where you don't have to shower? And then she's facepalm. She's like, oh, I get it. And that's the reality. But even though it's funny, it really highlighted the ignorance of the mechanics and really who we are. She just didn't understand that clearing is never ending, or more so, compartmentalization. Maybe I do that with my physical existence, but not so much spiritual. I could touch that once in a blue moon. You know, kind of like how people treat their cars. I could wash my car, clean it out once in a while, but you know, the physical needs more precedence, but the reality is that the energetic is the causal factor. And so if you stop and think you've made it, you're only playing yourself. So LaOta, would you start us off with this as one of the core tenets to commit to lifelong elevation? Why is this so important for people who are pursuing a lifestyle of cultivating light?
I'll start by saying my current level of understanding, which speaks to the question,
Yes.
At my current learning.
Now, where I am in my growth, that never stops.
That never stops. I envision, and I would encourage people to envision a ladder in the middle of the room. And that wherever you are, as you listen to this live stream, you're on the ladder at whatever rung you're on the ladder. As you desire more exaltation and elevation, more expansion, you go up the ladder. And the ladder extends into the universe and the cosmic center. There's no end to how high you can go or what you can be. You don't have to just wish to be a movie star. You could actually decide to be the star in the night sky that leads others to the truth. You could actually be that. And we're never taught that clarity. We're never taught that there are many stars, many suns, and that they were once consciousness. And so it seems crazy to us, but at my current level of understanding, I encourage you to dream a little bigger. You know, there is no end to it. The idea that we feel it's burdensome to energetically do meditations or clearing practices instead of enthusiastically running towards them is how we have been manipulated into thinking, well, when am I going to be finished with this? Like, as soon as you are no longer in physical reality, you will be finished with doing the part of that has your body involved in it. But if we, I love the language you use. You were saying people are ignorant, but that really means they're ignoring it.
Yes.
So if you don't ignore what animals do, if you don't ignore the fact that they're always cleaning, and they are aware of things. If you live in the house with an animal, you can see they know what's going on. They're like staring at the corner, and then they're making sure that they move a certain way. They're doing things to disrupt patterns and geometric shapes. The same thing happens when dogs and all the other animals are busy pruning, cleaning, and taking care of themselves all the time. It's not just physical custodial, because everything happens first in the unseen. Everything happens first in what you cannot see, and then you got to clean it off of you.
Yeah.
So the ignorance or the ignoring of the truth is what we're locked in, this experience of not being mindful of what's all around us. The leaves drop and then new leaves come, and it's just everything is the same story over and over again, and we're like, well, why can't I just be finished, and then if I live the next 40 or 50 years, I'm just done because I did it in 1970. It doesn't work that way, and when I say it, it sounds crazy, because it doesn't work.
Because it is. It is. It's absurd, especially when you're looking at the reference point of the template in nature. This is why light body is so important, because it really helps us understand the holographic nature of who and what we are. And again, with the root, we're understanding we are the earth. So what we see happen in the earth, may we take note and follow suit.
Yes, and that is actually our book. Our book is to look out the window, look at nature, stand, see what animals are doing, see what the fish are doing, see what the cats are doing. That is the book that we have a book that we have chosen, but that is actually the book.
I have this thing where when I hear something buzz, I start buzzing. I'm like, oh, yeah. I start buzzing. Let me make sure I'm vibrating. Let me get myself higher, because everything's vibrating. Like, let me follow suit, because you're talking to me. You're letting me know.
We are, in fact, a seed fractal of Creator. So it would be in our best interest and wise is, what did Creator make? Let's see. Yeah. Did Creator make a tree? Maybe I ought to watch the trees.
Right. Maybe I ought to be growing and straightening my spinal column, stretching to the sun.
That's right. Or, the birds singing, maybe I ought to sing.
Chirp, chirp.
Yeah, maybe I ought to buzz like a bee.
Yes.
All of these things are healing and will give us life. But all of it feels burdensome, because it means we have to stop our nothingness. We fill our hands with our phones, and we're like, I can't wait. I can only do 15 minutes. Like, my meditation took me half an hour this morning. My phone had to wait for me to get finished so I could touch it and hold it and have it with me again.
And yet humans will allow ourselves to doom scroll for an hour plus mindlessly, allowing ourselves to be subjugated to contamination, but at the same time make this type of excuse.
This is because we have been studied. We know what releases the hormones of dopamine. We know what makes us feel good. We know what, chocolate-covered fried Twinkies.
Everything. They deep fry everything nowadays.
Bacon,
Oreos. And,
bacon covered, whatever it is.
Absurd.
These are the things that release certain dopamine if you have worked your way into that direction. Now, if that doesn't apply to people who have not done that, we would get sick. And the body would expel poison. But once you become the poison, the body's like, okay.
It's fascinating, because there's a level of adaptation. Just kind of, okay, I've monitored this through my food lifestyle and seeing how you can stretch it in both directions.
Right.
To lessen or decrease the amount of food, or in the direction of poison, where because the body's modus operandi is life, it's like, all right, we're going to choose life, but we're going to adapt to this level of toxicity so we can continue functioning. And then it becomes this new status quo. And it's kind of like what we're experiencing societally, globally, where there are levels of toxins that are normalized to us, and the body has adapted, but still trying or attempting to live based off the modus operandi.
Well, it is that. it is also the idea that our ancestors did it too, and their ancestors did it. So they're contaminating thoughts of self-sabotage that want us to not live,
Yeah.
that want us to die early, that come through the lineage and through what has happened to the ancestries in the epigenetics. So there's more to this than meets an eye. Where you can really go right is if we look at creation as life, and it is, and we recognize that we are life, it then becomes incumbent upon us to keep ourselves alive. So, and in respect to Creator having given us life. When we think of it that way, it's easier to make decisions even though we have been engineered into circumstances that have made us accommodate that which is not life.
So, would you speak on how people can begin to see themselves as light? Because there's clearly a disconnect. If we, again, look at this through the lens of the root chakra, this divine understanding that is beyond knowledge. And that's another thing where I feel as though, or not feel, but what I observe is that individuals who fall into the psyop of, I've already made it, it's often knowledge instead of embodiment. It's something that's just all heady. But my point is that within light body movement, we have been taken into experiences of the embodiment of being the earth herself. It is truly an initiation where we see the connection. She's speaking to us through all the different life forms. And for my experience within my current level of growth and evolution, I see, oh my gosh, I am life. Life has value. Life is sacred. But in the seeing, I also see the disconnect. I see the world I live in, I grew up in, where I never really saw myself as life. It was a thing that was here, but there was such a fragmentation or disconnect, let alone to preserve it, with the exception of like, I don't want to die, right?
Yeah.
But, so like, how can people begin to identify more as life itself? Because it sounds like what you're saying is that looking at yourself as life will put you in a space of wanting to continue to allow life to do what it does, which is grow, expand, just like the trees or those tomato plants, vines that are like 6 feet tall now. They're not stopping. They just need something higher to grow on. So what are your thoughts on this?
Well, there's so many ways that this could be done, but it works both ways. Once you have the respect of what is actually going on, if you can see that you didn't create yourself and that there is a force in this mutable reality that can change. Remember, where we live is made out of silly putty and Play-Doh. It can change. Once you recognize yourself as life, and then you follow the thread to what did I do to deserve to get this? And what do I need to do to deserve to keep it? If you follow thoughts like that, it helps you identify that if life has been bestowed upon me, surely I must need to do something to keep it going. And there's enough, even in the calliope of what goes on the internet, there's enough clarity that people are trying to stay alive, they're trying to stay young, they're trying to
they're
fix
doing all
things
this
that are broken.
biohacking and supplemental.
They're
intakes.
doing a variety of things that may or may not, benefit you individually, but we can see that concept is embraced. So then the next step would be to see how we have been made to hate life. How many times have you closed the door to get the fly? How many times have you stepped on the ants? I watched children set something on fire outside that was a living thing. How many times have we seen people in a fish market massacring the fish? Or we recognize the billions of burgers, that have to be killed or not being killed appropriately. Like, it's not as if they were here to grow into old age. They came here as food, but how much disrespect do we give to that process? How much disrespect? How upset are we when an ant crawls on us? How upset are we when we see a spider? So the connection between who we are and every other aspect in the network of Mother Earth, they are not separate. They are inside of the earth as we are inside of the earth, made from all the things of the earth. So if you're walking around saying, I love the earth, but we don't like the insects,
Incongruent.
or we're saying, I love all of nature, but, I really hate myself and I'm going to smoke these cigarettes or take these drugs or shoot up or,
Incongruent.
yeah. So this is where it begins. It begins with the recognition that is in front of us that we did not make ourselves. There is a responsibility for being alive, and that responsibility means we must embrace the life we have or we will not keep it. And even though we are experiencing life and we think about death, we can see that every teaching, corrupted or otherwise, talks about the hereafter. So here after death and after life. So all of that lets us know that we are an extended idea, but we don't think it through. Our cognitive function has been halted, and we only see it through the lens of our traditions, whatever book we're reading or whatever religion we were taught or whatever social conditioning we have. But it's right in front of us.
Yeah. And so we see it, but there's still like a level of disconnect.
Yes.
You were speaking about, there's a clip that we just released, a short, and we were discussing the effects of artificial light versus natural light, the sun, fire, and how it is so detrimental to our biology, our hormones, our endocrine system, the mitochondria, all of that, right? So the cognition that you're talking about, it's like this, again, disconnect. We have leaned so deeply into the artificial versus let me get some sun. Being taught to be afraid of the sun and that it's the enemy, when in fact it's the very thing that's assisting with raising our consciousness and awakening the template.
Yes, it's complicated it's complicated by
It's a complicated relationship situationship.
it's complicated by the fact that most of us are full of parasites. And the parasites are uncomfortable in the light of the sun. And so every time we're thinking, I'm going to go outside and sit in the sun, then we get out there, we're uncomfortable, and then there are things crawling on us and things buzzing by, and we have not considered how we can be at peace and harmony with everything else. So it's a complicated situation for someone who has been developed in our culture and other cultures on the planet. So there's this, no, I don't want the sun because it's going to make me itchy. It's going to make me...
Or I'm going to get darker.
That, and then it's, like that's a sign of the peasant class because the people worked in the fields are the ones who got dark, and the ones who don't have enough melanin, they'll then be hurt and injured from peeling, from burning. So all of these things, though, are fixable, but we have to work from the inside out and eat the right food, have the right habits, know what time to go out, what time not to go out, what else we should be doing while we're out. Should we be talking to Mother Earth and grounding? Should we be breathing? What else should we be doing? So it's not complicated in its essence. It's complicated in the sophistication of the toxins that have been introduced to us at so many layers.
I want to ask you a question. This is for the person, and by the way, before I even ask this question, if this is landing for you, let us know, drop a comment, and if there's something that you do to sustain your elevation, drop it in the comment. If there's something that you're like, look, this is an area that can use some evolution. This area is keeping me where I am. Drop it in the comment and we'll touch on it. But my question to you is, for the person who may be thinking, well, what about, being able to just grow and then bask in the growth? Like, is there ever a moment of like a break? Being able to, all right, I grew, can I breathe? Because many people on the journey feels like it's always another thing and this never stops. And they feel the same way holographically with the realization of the truth of how much anti-life is in the food. We can't eat anything. I can only eat air. So what do you say to someone who is adopting that disposition?
sovereignty is the answer. You know, that you get your seeds, soak your food in your own saliva, plant that seed, it'll be your medicine. You can have you can have microgreens in a week. You can have sprouts in 3 days. You are not without resources. You are not without food. You're not without the things that you need, the ultraviolet from the sun, the grounding from the earth. You're not without what you need. You know, breathe in air. Give if you didn't if you had nothing and you started with some alfalfa seeds, you could eat in 3 days. You could last that long.
That's right.
You know, like
Simple.
you could, and that would not be from a commercial warehouse grocery store that has contamination.
And
So
we have discussed how nutrient dense sprouts are, alfalfa sprouts, which is amazing. I digress though.
well, and even that, if you don't want to eat them, I have juiced them. You can drink it as a juice. There's so many things that are available to us because of the beneficence of how creation has been done. Not everything has been contaminated, but if you recognize the levels of, I can't have nothing but air, then you should be lining up to change it. If you know that much,
So I want to ask you.
if you know that much,
Yeah,
then you should be doing
do something.
something.
So,
Yeah.
but what's going on the flip side within the mind of the person who won't do the thing, but sits and complains?
Oh, well, you know, that's somebody who doesn't feel that they have the power to change anything. What people don't realize is it doesn't take a billion soldiers to change a thing. People don't get that critical mass is real. If enough of us are determined enough, clear enough, congruent enough, have enough coherence, things can shift if we're moving in the same direction. And humanity hasn't had a lot of experience with that, but there have been pockets of that level of coherence in experiences with humanity. And we are at this bifurcation where there's two timelines where the law in this universe is people get to have what they want. So you get to have what you want, but it's not what you say, it's not what you're meditating on, it's what you are. What have you made yourself into? Are you a person who is waiting, who is like procrastinating, that I'm going to do the exercise tomorrow, I'm going to eat better tomorrow, I'm going to talk better, I'm going to stop doing drugs, I'm going to stop smoking, I'm going to stop doing this tomorrow? Because the procrastinator ends up on the timeline that's not in the highest interest, but it's even worse because the procrastinator is not such the ignorance. This is the one who knows. So the pain,
and ignores the signal, the
yes.
impulse of life to grow and to do what's necessary.
And what happens with procrastination is it leads to stagnation. Stagnation leads to extinction. And so, and the more we know, that automatically makes you the procrastinator if you're not doing. So whatever you can see, congratulate yourself, pat yourself on the back. Like you can see. Now, incumbent upon your knowing is your doing. And so you have to grow yourself into integritous human so that you can do these things. And ultimately, it all still comes back to you. You are the responsible party in your life. You are the one who will make it happen. You are the one who will die on the sword that does not happen.
All right, I want to pivot a little bit. The tenet says to continue to expand without ego or stagnation. So we just spoke about stagnation. Let's speak a little bit about ego, because there's this tendency to have a sense of superiority, and it happens across the spectrum of expanding consciousness. I think a really good mundane example is someone who learns about food. They got it, and they end up treating food as a religion. They start Jehovah's Witnessing on behalf of veganism or fruitarianism or whatever ism that they've adopted, and condemning others and trying to get people on board. And again, there's this, first off, in the C's, which is a false sense of power. There is no elevation in comparing, condemning a person where they're at. I'm thinking about, there's videos that I've seen, and I was privy to this as well, and I did this with my family. seeing where they were. I learned a couple of things. I traveled around. I'm getting soul clearance. I think I know what's going on. And then, I moved back in home and I'm like, what is this? What are you doing? Nope, I don't want what you got. And it was with all the taint and the disgust of condemnation until I learned, like, that is not how you inspire. It's not, like, they didn't want nothing to do with any of my healthy eating. It was just so, like, it was a dissonance. It was demagnetization. So then through my matriculation and education process of growth and evolution, I saw that first off, focus on you, grow, evolve, and then also honoring or catching myself being in the seas, making sure that I'm not condemning, not criticizing, not being in these type of, or playing out these programs that are perpetuating the very thing that I am supposedly against. So I remember seeing videos of like vegans doing things at restaurants where there's meat eaters and they're like protesting. I'm like, nobody wants this. Why are you doing this? But again, there's this grandiosity ego, and we think we're saving them. We think we're helping them, but it is no different than a person knocking on your door saying, fill in the blank. You know where I'm going with this.
Proselytizing. Yeah, where, like, I've got to make you a disciple of what I'm doing because I have decided it's what everybody should do. Yeah, so in terms of the ego is, what we have to understand is the ego is a living consciousness. No consciousness wants to die. All consciousness fight to live.
Yeah.
So whatever religious fervor we have towards whatever it is, whether we want to take indigenous plants or whether we want to smoke marijuana or whether we want to eat certain things, that thought form does not want to die. So if you come across something that is more congruent or deeper or more expansive, that thought form is still lingering in the back in the subconscious, just waiting to sabotage you as ego, as the culmination of the things that are moving against what you want to do. And it doesn't want to die. So now you're confronted with having the power, all the power that you have, the most powerful thing in the universe, and equally you have it on the other side. It's you against you.
Yeah. I and I.
Yes.
That's what the Rastas say.
That's exactly what it is. It's like, so now you will have to discipline yourself to work it through, because often it's not listening to logic.
At all.
It's not.
At all.
But if you have the higher clarity that we are eternal beings, we have no option but to continue to grow or we will not exist. Our lack of growth automatically removes us from the concept of living.
Yeah.
We cannot be life if we contaminate ourselves to the point of death. And that continues on spiritually as well.
That's a major point right there. I got one more point I'd like us to touch on before we go to our commercial break from our sponsor, LaOta. And again, we see you all dropping comments. We appreciate you hanging out with us because this is some real stuff. This is really taking a look in the mirror. Where are you on your journey? And assessing it. Where are you stagnant? Where are you not allowing or listening to the signal of grow and become more, which is already encoded within our DNA? So the next one I want to jump into is the idea of how spiritual maturity requires correction. And I have noticed within myself and others where there is an impulse of not wanting to be corrected. Actually, some people fear correction. We have a practice. We encourage people to call on correction. I'd like you to explain more about the frequency of correction so people can understand it. I think some of you are aware of this. Some of you who are not, I think there's key indicators of what we're speaking about. But I have seen within my journey where it's like, no, like, I already know. There's people who I've seen and heard. You tell them, I already know. Where there is immediate block and rejection to maybe this is an opportunity for me to expand. Maybe my other self has, what does my other self have for me that could help me grow versus putting up this wall like, nah, I got it already. I don't need anything that you got. And how that stunts the growth. And it just distorts the relationship with the field and understanding of who we are. But would you go into spiritual maturity allows or requires correction?
It most certainly does, but I want to speak to what you just said because it still serves us. It serves us that we won't listen to the point where we hit a brick wall that then forces us into a position where listening seems like a good idea.
That's right. You gotta get a little bloody.
Yeah.
Get an open wound. You're like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, I often
gotta do something
find
different.
the biggest breakthroughs I have with people are directly related to the level of pain and suffering they're in.
I feel like that's everybody LaOta. Excuse me, man. I was like, ooh.
And whether it's mental, emotional, physical, or even metaphorical, it feels that humanity, the way the brain works is it believes everything that is told repeatedly. So if your traditions are told to you over and over and over again, your subconscious is playing that out as hard fact, and
Right.
so when a new idea comes in that says, look, you could be healthy and live, you don't have to die of what you're dying of, then there's this level of, have I hit that brick wall yet? Am I willing to use, because it doesn't want to die, remember.
Yeah.
The concepts that you have that have been implanted in you don't want to die.
This is major, what you're saying.
Yeah, they don't want to die. So then it's, do you have the will and determination? And I know this because I've done it. Do you have the will, the determination, and the time it will take to work through your own stuff so that you can get to the light that you see at the end of the tunnel? Is it worth it? Can you do that? That's the learning experience. Every soul has the option. You're learning at your own pace by your own design. And your willingness to break through, and I often use that analogy of, a person who's trying to stop smoking, taking out the cigarette and saying no every time. Like every time you have the thought that you're not good enough, or that you aren't enough, or somebody didn't do something for you, or somebody owes you something, or that they should have done more for you, or they should have paid for this or that. Every time that comes out, you say, no, I'm bigger than this. I'm greater than this. I can be a sovereign being. I don't have to be the barnacle that's on the whale sucking its life. I don't have to be that parasite. I can be all that I need to be for me if I can release this thought that I'm not. Because that's all that's stopping us.
Yeah.
Is the thought that we're not.
But sometimes that thought's like a boulder, though.
It most certainly is, and it is not boulders, sometimes mountains.
Yeah.
And if you're not going to get rid of it now, when are you going to get rid of it? So if every time you say, oh, that's so big, I'm like, okay, I agree, it's big. You got a big mountain. So what are you going to do about it? You going to let it get bigger, or are you going to start chipping away at it? I mean, that's your option. There's no other option. Like, you live this life, you don't work on it, you come back the next life, do you think it's smaller? You think death will make your problems less?
Would you speak on, we had a conversation earlier about karma, and there was a conversation I had with someone who, the topic at hand, they said, I don't think that's karma, and that I don't think you understand what karma is. And this idea of you carry yourself everywhere you go, what's inside of you is outside of you, it'll be drawn back. But would you expound on that? Because there is compartmentalization within our minds. We're all growing, we're releasing, we're looking to be coherent, congruent with our understandings. But some people think karma is just a negative thing, like, oh, watch out for your karma. What would you lay some understandings of what this is?
I think it would be best to not use the word, although we must reference the word so we know what we're talking about.
I agree.
But the word itself has been attached to many things, depending on what their orientation was, how they've heard it. But this is the reality that I do know to be true, that when the wave goes out, the wave comes back.
It sure does.
So the wave goes out, the wave is eventually coming back. That's how water works.
Yes.
We do know that to be true. And water remembers everything. Look at that. It remembers everything.
It's like, I know what you did. I know what you thought. I know what you felt.
It's
you
imprinted,
emoted.
yes. And it is not what we say, it is who we are. So it's not you are in the becoming of whatever you're saying. You're becoming whatever your affirmation is. You're becoming whatever your meditation is. But your manifestation is going to match who you are, not what you're saying. If you eventually become that, then it matches. And that's how you know. It's like, oh, I got what I have become. That manifestation, that request I've been making, you know, my giant cabbage showed up. I got that.
Yeah. So, well, one of the understandings you were sharing with me, and this is expansive for everyone, we are manifesting what is unconscious. The manifestation is a reoccurring, unfolding, ever-going process of what's inside of you, and it's not limited to, okay, I'm about to manifest. No, you are already manifesting. Everything around you, is what you have, is what you all often say, what's around you is what you want, what you desire, what is you. Would you speak a little bit about the unconscious parts of us that are materializing is manifestation?
It's so clear once we hear it. It's like you open your eyes and look around where you are. That's what your unconscious has manifested.
Yeah.
Now you can consciously manifest, but if you are in a house, or if you're in a trailer, or if you're in an apartment, or if you have a car outside, or you have a scooter, or you got a bicycle, that's what you have manifested. That your unconsciousness gave you that with no effort. We're in a mutable world, you can change the configuration of your consciousness and consciously spend many times a day creating a new experience. And often when we meet people, they're in varying levels of that. They're like, I want to have a baby, and they're, 40 years old, but they didn't want to have a baby, so the unconscious manifested the not wanting to have the baby, and now they're in the transition of wanting to have the baby, so they have to grow through the transition to see if that can happen, because that's getting dicier and dicier.
Yeah, biological clock.
So, and it's really not really about that. It's about frequency, but the frequency of who you are. Are you the mother? Are you the father? Are you the brother? Are you the lover? Are you the friend? If you find yourself with no friends, or without having that sibling kind of relationship, or without having the whatever it is, that's what your frequency is producing in your physical reality as a truth of who you are. And that gives us such a wonderful portrait to see, oh, well, look what's missing in my house. I don't have a deck. I don't have a porch. I need neighbors. I should have siblings. And those are all mutable things. You can go get people who are like a brother, sister, father, mother. You can go get a relationship with a piece of property that represents what you want. But whatever you have, this is what you currently are. And this is not understood. Yeah. And what you do today will be your next life or next incarnation will represent what you have made yourself. So there is no point at which you should stop working on you, because you are eternal, and the next experience will be just like your apartment or your house, where you open your eyes and like, oh, that's who I am this time? Okay, let's get to work.
This is a great way, I think, to conclude this, and I'd like us to go to a quick commercial break from our sponsor, LaOta Inc., and then cycle back around, answer maybe a couple of questions, because people are lighting up the chat with, looks like deep, insightable questions or experiences that they're sharing.
Let's
and then we'll wrap
join
up.
in. Yeah,
absolutely. So stick around, everybody. We're going to go to a quick commercial break, 1 minute and 10 seconds. I know you got it in you. Check out LaOta.
Alex, you're the owner of LaOta Group. How is LaOta Group changing how investors buy and store gold?
Most people think buying gold means walking into a store and hoping you're getting the right price. We've built a LaOta Group to erase that friction and modernize how the world owns gold. At LaOta, we're merging centuries of trust with 21st century technology. Investors can now buy institutional-grade gold, refined, verified, and insured, with the same simplicity as buying a stock. But the real innovation is in custody. Every ounce is vaulted in top-tier facilities, audited independently, and fully allocated, meaning it's yours, not a promise on paper. Whether you're in Dubai, London, or Singapore, you can verify your holdings in real time and even request physical delivery. We've removed the mystery from gold ownership and replaced it with transparency, liquidity, and control. LaOta Group isn't selling gold. We're restoring trust in money itself. Because the future of gold isn't old-fashioned. It's personal, digital, and deliverable.
That's right. Check out LaOtaInc.com. This is our supporter, our sponsor. Anyone who's interested in wealth management, assets protection, check them out. Especially if you're recognizing what's happening on the planet, what's happening specifically in the U.S. There will be a shift, and if you got some funds that you're looking to allocate, assets, material, things that are real, that's what he's often speaking about, which is in support of what we speak on. Gold's a mineral, you know, it's sacred. It's something that's real, that it will be here. It's not going nowhere. So anywho, check out the website, and we are in honor, respect, and gratitude of Alex, LaOta Inc. So I want to give a quick shout out to the people who we have in the chat. Send us some Inlocation Veritas to all of you. Then we'll get to some of the comments. Got Inlocation Veritas to Inlocation Studio 1, Diane. She's in the house squared. Stacy OTS. Regina 1908. We got Serenia MacArthur. We also have Leon Eri, Stephanie of the Sun in the chat. Delilah Burrows is in the chat. I am Elijah Woods. Peace, love, light, power, prosperity to everyone. Thank you for being you. We thank you as well, Elijah. And then we also have Gina in Location Veritas. I absolutely appreciate and taking all of the energy and thoughts and information LaOta and all of the other Sun family is sharing with us. We are pleased to hear you find value, Gina, and always expressing your gratitude and appreciation. We have Lisbeth in the house. We got Wondering Jet. Wondering Jet says, wow, just wow. I don't know what that was, but looks like the heart is open through a green heart emoji. We got Leon Eri asking, can we purchase the classes on replay after it's finished? Yes, you may. Matter of fact, there are several classes available, such as Sun Calibration, where the classes are taught in group, and even if you're not there, you can go to the recordings, you can purchase it. You're going to be sent a welcome letter with a Google link to the drive with all the class recordings, the class materials, the activations, and the meditations, and get in when you fit in. And if you have questions, you can always book a follow-up so we can give you a little extra bump up.
And we have a tutor. You can take a class that was previously recorded, and then you can book a tutoring session with Lauren of the Sun, so that to make sure that you've got it, or if you think that you need more, and it's very practical and reasonable.
Yes, yes. So we got Wondering Jet says, these are gems. Wondering Jet's getting expanded over there. Reparenting Daily sending us a myriad of heart emojis. We appreciate that love. Lelio Nderi is back. She says, I feel the break is when you embody the idea of change and it becomes easy to choose yourself. You won't mind choosing yourself because it's a habit at that point. Not saying there won't be a challenge. I think there's some truth to that.
It's always about decision.
Yeah.
You can't, nothing happens until you decide. Nothing.
Yeah, well, certainly.
The universe, the angels, the ancestors, all of the ones who love you and have loved you for thousands of years can't move by law in this universe until you decide.
Oh, gosh.
They can't move to help you. They can't get you off the edge of the cliff until you say help.
Let me tell you about this experience. I told you and Diane this morning about this. I was driving, talking to the guidance, and I was asking these questions that I've never asked before, and I heard them say, oh, nice of you to finally ask. I was like, oh, you all been waiting for me. And like the flood of insight came forth. I was like, yeah, you all respect that free will.
If they are
do.
those who are our guidance are in total harmony with the laws of creation, which allow us to be free and for them to help us if we were to ask. And if we don't ask, they'll be like, yeah, it looks like she's going to have another lifetime soon.
Oh, she needs a mop. It's bloody. You don't ask, you don't get, huh?
Right.
Open that throat chakra. Light body movement.
It is, in our world, it is considered some kind of a humiliation to ask. There is no humiliation in asking. It's the laws and principles of the universe. Nobody is going to come to you and force on you, because humanity has had that experience. No, none of those who are elevated and ascended will force on you an experience that you have not requested in one way or another.
Well, so that's a heck of a psyop. To see that the way how the mechanics of reality is designed is nothing happens unless you request, which the request looks like a thought, a broadcast, right? Consent. But our reality, that the artificial structure in society we live in is, no, we're going to make you do this thing. We're going to infringe on you. I know you didn't ask for this, but we're going to give this to you anyway. And so I can see how the conditioning has been conditioned.
Well, if you choose to drink Coca-Cola, you choose to eat acid food, and then you choose to live a life of debauchery, you are asking.
Yeah.
That's the asking for the experience. That's the part that's not understood. So people say to us,
yeah.
I would never have asked for this terrible thing to happen to me. I'm like, everything you did ask for it. There's
Sure.
nothing that you did that didn't ask for it. So there's that.
Yeah, I had a conversation with your grandson literally yesterday, and he was sharing with me one of his coworkers, an older gentleman, said that back in the day, they used to drink with open cans, right? And it's like things aren't the way they used to be. And he was asking my perspective, and I said, well, my perspective is spiritual. I was like, it's spirits. Isn't that what you see on the sign? Spirits? And then it's like, you're opening yourself up to possession. You drink, you're asking for...
Open cans, what is that?
Open can of alcohol.
Open
Driving and being able to have an open...
Not be illegal.
Yeah, and so it was this conversation of, well, the guy at work, the older gentleman, was like, well, we can't do it. They messed it up for us. And the reality that many things have happened where there have been casualties because of the recklessness, and people have protested against this because of that type of behavior. But the deeper spiritual understanding is that you're opening yourself up to possession, and like you're asking for it. You're actually, when you go, you often say this, you go to the bar, you ask for the shots, and then you black out and you wonder what happened. That's because you asked for it.
Absolutely. Like, I'm going to a place that has spirits. I wonder what'll happen if I go in there and drink something from in there. That's crazy.
You know, but it was funny to him because he was like, that makes sense. But people don't look. I was like, I know, it's in the language, but
Yes, it's
just
right
over
there.
our heads.
Yes, and we're able to, as you began this conference today with saying that people are ignorant, it is the ignoring.
Yes.
It is the ignoring. I choose to ignore that because that's what I want to do, so I don't believe in the things I can't see. I'm like, well, good luck with that.
Yeah, because you're gonna be seeing some stuff soon because the veil's getting thin.
Yes.
So we got some other comments in here. We're gonna begin to wrap this up, but again, honor, respect, and gratitude to you all. These are some really good things here that you're bringing forth. We have Gina. She's back around and she says, it took me a while before I sat under the tree with my eyes closed and not automatically slap and kill anything I felt crawling on me, but now even my daughter has been gently moving bugs along. Would you speak to shifting to this disposition of where you honor life at that level?
It's, I'd like to give this analogy. We walk upon the back of the earth. There are those who, as we walk upon the back of the earth, see us and get out of their trucks and attack us and kill us. Have we become them? Have we locked all the doors so we can get the fly? Have we decided that how dare such an insect touch us? Doesn't it know that I'm beyond reproach, that just because I'm on the earth doesn't mean that you can crawl upon me? You know, so there's such hubris, such human ego that we can't allow another life form to exist in the space where we are, or even it is as if we don't know we're covered in microbes. We are covered in things
Ignorance.
crawling all
Ignoring
over us.
these levels of reality.
And the other thing that you can do is every morning in your practice, you can ask for the highest, best experience, and you can ask that nothing that will bite you or harm you. You can ask your body to produce a frequency where that doesn't happen. So you can leave the fear behind. You don't have to be afraid of Mother Nature. There are things that bite you, especially if you step on them. There are things that will bite you if you bump up against
It's that
them.
cause and effect.
Yes.
You get crazy, it gets crazy.
But for things like mosquitoes are really not from creation. That's a separate idea. And so you can ask that you have coverage for that, and you can, once you learn to get your yes and no's, you can figure out how many hours of coverage you have. There are things that you can eat and drink that keep things off of you. They don't like the way it smells, so they won't bite you.
That's
There's a
right.
variety of things to do, but death is not always the solution.
Yeah, but
you don't have to die. How dare you? You must die now because you touched my finger.
Yeah, it's so wild. Like,
Yeah.
We've become the enemy. We've become the thing that we point to the corporations, we point to the government, we point to this and that, and say how egregious it is, and we have adopted it.
Yeah, we want to go and annihilate an entire species.
You know, what's wild though
Which is what humanity is doing in other places.
what's wild is that it happens in a way where those who are perceived as powerless or less than us, they end up doing it. Instead of like, you're not going to do that to no larger animal.
Well, I mean, it's been done. There's only so many tigers left. There's only
Well,
so.
true, but look at how they do it though. Cowardly, going at poachers with a gun and hunting, and it's like,
however they do
you're
it.
not going to go out there.
However
and
they do
scrap
it,
with the
they're
tiger.
shooting horses from helicopters.
Yeah, Australia, right? The culling.
More than one place. However they do it, they find ways to do it.
Yeah.
So are we that? Have we become that? Is that what we have? Is that what our epigenetics has brought us to? Is that what our parents did?
Yeah.
It's something to consider.
It is indeed.
And it is the unconscious, reality, mostly like she just said, she was doing it unconscious until she brought her consciousness into mindfulness. And now she's influenced her daughter into mindfulness. What a glory that is.
Yes, yes. All right, so we've been going a little long. But this has been great, LaOta. Let us know in the chat how this resonated with you all. We see that there's a number of comments, but we're getting close to the tail end of our podcast. But we want to, again, thank you all for joining us. And again, we got plenty of classes and activations. If you're inspired, if this moves you, if you're getting the energy of, I want this, I want to be part of this, I want coherency in my life, join the light body movement. Join the initiation where you learn to pull in light, to become coherent, light up that root chakra, light up the entire light column so you can get the signal. This level of connectivity of amplifying and going back to the original template, it allows us to be in harmony with nature. It allows us to, something landed on me, or what information do you have to share today? You came on behalf of, what does Mom have to say?
What we are saying is not an opinion. It is not a point of view. We are moving into truth. And we are continuing to grow into truth. There is no mountaintop at which we have all the truth. We will continue to pursue the idea of obtainment into what is best for life as gratitude to that which gave us life. We encourage you to do the same.
Certainly.
We thank you for joining us. We give you the greetings of In Location Veritas with honor, respect, gratitude, integrity, discipline, and action. Thank you.